What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Here's the Deal. I'm your host, Michael White, always with you. I'm with my guy, David. Say what's up to the people, man.
What's good, everybody? You already know what's up. It's your boy Cole, ready to get into this episode. Episode 18, man. Let's get it.
Episode 18, man. Wait, is it 18 or is it 19?
I don't know. Hey, we'll figure it out later.
No, this 19, because I think last week I said we was adults on this. Yeah, this episode 19 right here. Well, we could be wrong. We'll figure it out.
That's a bet. Let's get it, though. Shout out to Yambo. Yambo is a new sports betting app. They pay out real cash to the top 3 winners during halftime and at the end of a game. Get on the app during the game and put a bet on live action. Like at the end of the game of Game 6 in the finals, I put a bet on Fred VanVleet hitting that 3 at the end of the finals. So I was able to stack up my points. So I was feeling good about that. So go ahead and get that app. Again, that's Yamble, YAMBLE, and make some money on your real-time predictions. But now, let's get into the episode. So, today we have a very, very special guest out of St. Louis. His name is Stacy Collier II from the Last Word podcast. So, what's up, Stacy? Go ahead and say what's up to the people, man.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Glad to be on. Here's the deal. Love this show, and let's have some fun with it.
Tell people where they can find you. Go ahead and get your plugs on, man.
Oh, you can find me on Twitter, at SCV2nd. Again, that's on Twitter at SCV2nd. You can see all my posts, all the links I got to my articles, including Last Word podcast, everything. So follow me on Twitter at SCV2nd.
Yeah, definitely go ahead and get my mans out there and follow y'all. All right, definitely do that right now. Go ahead and do that before you start the pod. But what do you think of the end of the finals, man? What do you think of Game 6? How the last game ended in Oracle? Did anything catch you off by surprise?
Man, first of all, I got to say this first. That game was crazy. My heart was beating the whole game. I love that game. It was close throughout, but then 7 points, both teams didn't get a big lead. It was a crazy game. I was blindsided, sidetracked by the fact that Klay Thompson got hurt. Very unfortunate situation, but the better team won and the Raptors won. It's a feel-good story, and I'm happy for the Raptors.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. The Raptors are definitely the better team, and they did come out with the W, so definitely agree with that. Kyle Lowry started off with the first 11. He shut down all the critics at the end of this series, so I was definitely proud of him at the end of the series. But go ahead, Donnell. Go ahead and tell us about what you think of Game 6.
Well, first things first. It just feels good to be right. Again, I picked the Raptors early in the season to make the finals. I picked them to win the whole thing. And just seeing them raise that trophy up at Oracle on their last night there ever. The last thing they're going to remember at Oracle is a dude with cornrows in the year 2019 holding up that MVP trophy.
It's some New Balance.
It's some New Balances. What a combination that was. But getting into the series, like Stacey said, it was an exciting game from start to finish. My heart was pumping, just like he said, the entire time. I was on my way back from the Dominican Republic, so I was watching it on the airplane. And unfortunately, the first thing I saw was Kevin Durant get hurt. What? That was the first thing I freaking saw. So moving into the last game, just as high pace as it was, and to see Klay Thompson go down again, which is unfortunate, like we said. But at the end of the day, I picked the Raptors to win, and that was me betting on them being healthy. So it was an exciting series, but like Stacey said, the better team won.
Yeah, I definitely, man. Looking at this series, I think we all had the Raptors winning, right? Stacey, you had the Raptors winning, right?
Honestly, at the beginning, I was like, the Warriors gonna fall to somebody in the East. They're gonna lose in the finals. But then when it was Toronto's time, I was thinking okay, I want the Raptors to win, and they can win, but I don't know how they was gonna do against the Warriors, because the other Raptors players outside of Kawhi Leonard were too up and down, too hot and cold. So it was the whole head versus heart thing for me.
Oh yeah, I feel you on that. But hey, in the finals they showed up, man. Pascal Siakam, he showed up. Shout out Wichita State, undrafted Fred VanVleet.
Drake's
twin out there.
Give him the max.
The max. Hold on.
Yeah, the max.
What?
He turned into one of my favorite players, man. That dude is tough.
Yeah, he's a bucket. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He's a bucket. He got hit with the people's elbow, but he came back game 6.
Did you see the move he put on Quinn Cook? The little
he was cooking up, bro.
I was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
You got to get out there on that. You have to be there. He was killing the movie.
Yeah, he closed them out. The fourth quarter was all his in game 6. That was all him. He sent Steph to hell. Whoever was on him, he sent them down. Like, there was no way the Warriors was about to win that game. And hey, from an undrafted point guard like that, because I was definitely a big fan of Fred VanVleet out of Wichita State. I believe they had Ron Baker on that team. Like,
yeah, they did.
If you watch college basketball,
he killed my Missouri State. He killed my Missouri State. Killed them.
Hey, yeah, you remember those Wichita State teams, man. They was somewhat special a little bit. But game 6, man, hey, Iggy, he tried to play. He balled out. He kind of played like Denver Iguodala a little bit. He was in the tough mid-range jumpers and things like that. But Steph, man, we got to talk about Steph. Klay held it down for a little bit. He was playing great. Like I said, throughout the whole series, I thought Klay was playing the best basketball out of anybody on the Warriors, consistently proving it on the offensive and defensive end. But when he went down, at first I thought he tweaked his. I thought it was like a hyperextended knee. That's what I thought it was at first. But, you know, the reports started coming out. He tried to go back on the court like he was fine. But, you know, reports came out. He did end up tearing his ACL. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and talk about, do you think Steph choked in this game after, you know, with everybody going down? Do you think he should have been able to pull this game out and at least force it to a game 7?
So I got to be fair in this situation. Because Steph got a clean look at the basket at the end of that game. I don't care who's hurt, who wasn't on the court. Your 2-time unanimous MVP got a great look at the basket. He's the best shooter. That's what we all call him. And he missed it. These are the type of shots that, I hate to say this, but we would kill LeBron for if he missed it or didn't take it. Or we would kill KD or some of these other stars if they miss it or take it. So I think you have to look at this as a ding on his legacy. If they would have lost the series in 7, that's one thing. We understand Klay Thompson's gone now. KD's already out. Iggy's banged up. You can't expect him to play the way he did in game 6. You don't expect him to hit shots like that. But in the moment of that game 6, when you get a look, the type of look that Steph Curry got, you got to hit that shot. And Steph Curry's been kind of hot and cold throughout these playoffs. Remember, before KD went down, the first series against the Clippers, I believe Steph Curry was shooting about 28% from 3. Even in the Rockets series that they did end up winning, he was shooting a low percentage from 3 there. He really started to pick it up against the Blazers, and then he played an okay series here against the Raptors. But when you're that guy, when you're supposed to be the heart and soul of that team and you get a wide open shot from 3 and you're regarded as the best shooter of all time, you got to make that shot. So I think this does take a ding on his legacy just because he couldn't push it to 7 when the opportunity was right in front of him.
Definitely agree with you on that. What do you think, Stacey?
Steph Curry choked in game 6. He choked. He choked. No question. Like Mike said, it's no excuse. If you can't give that excuse to LeBron, you can't give that excuse to Steph. I mean, Steph is a great player. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame once he's done with his career. He choked that game. When your 2 teammates who so happen to be stars, superstars even, when they go down, you got to step up. You got to take reins. You got to take control of that team. You got to lead them. You got to say, all right, give me the ball. I'm going to do what I have to do to get us to a game 7. And he didn't do that. And I knew he wasn't going to do that when Klay Thompson went down and he sat on the other side of the court and he slammed the ball to him and all that. I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for him mentally. Like he was just dejected. And then I think he finished the game like 9 for 22 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And he had 21 points. Fred VanVleet outscored him coming off the bench. He had 22. Steph just had 21. I was like, where's that Steph that scored that 40 plus that one game in the series? But he had to take over, and he didn't, so he choked.
Yeah, I definitely agree with y'all. Steph, he choked in my eyes too. On that last shot, on that 3-pointer, hey, we call him the greatest shooter ever. You got to hit those pressure shots. You know, they came out.
No, I was agreeing with you. Yep.
Yeah, like they came out with that stat that he was 0 for 9 on, I guess, go ahead shots in like the last 20 seconds, things like that. So it's just continuing to build on that legacy that he doesn't hit those big shots when his team needs it the most. And I mean, for somebody that does have 3 rings, 2 MVPs, a unanimous MVP, you got to deliver in those situations. He got outscored by 6 players altogether, like 4 players on the Raptors and 2 players on his own team. Klay Thompson scored 30, and he only played 32 minutes. While Steph played 42, and then Iguodala scored 22 points and 10 less minutes than Steph as well. So how you get outscored by those players, I don't know. So I definitely look at Steph in this game 6. He choked it up. Like I've been saying throughout the series, he's been a lot hit or miss. Like he had that game 3 performance, but hey, like Michael had said earlier, he is like the most meaningful 47 you could like imagine in the finals game. So he's shown bits and flashes, but I need him to stay consistent and, delivering those great games that we are accustomed to seeing him to do throughout the regular season. Like, I'm not sure if it's since KD's gotten there, he's got accustomed, just having so many great players around him. He doesn't have to go into, that scoring mode, but I definitely expect Steph to deliver in those type of situations.
So I'll ask you guys this question just off rip. Going into next year, knowing that there's not going to be a KD, whether that means he's going to a different team or he's out hurt, we know KD's not going to be playing for the Warriors, and we know Klay Thompson is going to be missing for quite some time. What do you expect to see from Steph Curry? Do you think he can have an MVP caliber year? Do you think he's going to remind us why he was a 2-time MVP? Or are we going to start seeing some chinks in the armor and people start to figure him out more and what to do defensively against him?
He better go back to that 30 point per game average he had back in 2015. He gonna need that.
Yeah.
He got a lot to prove. After what happened in game 6, he has a lot to prove next year. And teams are definitely going to game plan against Steph Curry. They definitely going to target him. Like we seen in this series versus the Raptors in the finals. They put that boxing 1 on him and it didn't turn out so well for him. So he definitely going to make his name, whether good or bad, next year.
Yeah, whether or not these players do come back next year, you got Klay in free agency. I believe he'll come back. I believe KD will come back. But the fact that both of them are out with injury is going to definitely be a big-time year for him. If Boogie comes back, that will definitely take a lot of the load off of him and a lot of the pressure that he's going to have next year. Like I've been saying throughout these playoffs, he's one of the hardest players for me to rank all time because he's never had to really carry that team to me. Like he's always had a great complementary of role players, and we saw that throughout this finals. As his, other supporting cast went down, he wasn't able to play as great as we're used to him play. So throughout this next year, I don't believe we'll see the unanimous MVP Steph. We'll definitely see a great Steph, but I don't think he'll be in that MVP conversation. I think the Warriors are definitely going to drop down to one of the bottom 4 seeds in the West. With him and Draymond, like they can do some things, but they're not going to be able to fill out this roster with a whole lot of talent with having to put their money, whether it be Klay, KD, and whoever they have on the team is going to be wrapped up in their main guys. And Draymond's definitely going to have to help Steph a lot because even if Steph does average 30, I don't think that's going to win them the amount of games that we're used to seeing them win.
Oh, no. Draymond need to average, I tweeted this earlier, Draymond need to be averaging a solid 18 per game.
Right.
And that's the minimum. Hey, I need 18.
I give 20. Give me 20.
18 in
Right.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, bro. Draymond going to have to be on his shit next year because, the scoring options are getting thin. Realistically, if you think about it, he might be like their third option because I think they're going to bring Boogie back. He'll be another year healthier, so I think he'll be the number 2 option right behind Steph. Realistically, you got Draymond Green there. You're now counting on Iggy.
Mm-hmm.
You can count on maybe the production of maybe Quinn Cook getting another year better, but I don't think that's a solid. I think you have to go to the guy who's won Defensive Player of the Year, who's shown the ability to knock down shots at certain times. You got to count on his offense in the offseason, and hopefully he brings it next year.
Hey, if I'm the Warriors, go out there, give Melo a call, give Nick Young a call, give Jamal Crawford a call. We need some scorers up in here while these players out. Give all of them a call.
They need a bucket getter.
Yeah, definitely, because Steph ain't going to be able to carry the load like that. Because even if Boogie does come back, he'll still be a shell of what we're used to see Boogie. So I definitely agree with you. Draymond's going to have to pick up a lot of that scoring load. But Kawhi's just bringing a new balance to the league, man. New balance to the league, man.
Literally.
That's what it is. Like, no pun intended.
On his feet.
Is what he's bringing, man. Shout out Masai Ujiri for making the risk and going out and getting those players, making those mid-season additions and Marc Gasol and things like that. Like, it's definitely getting understated what he did for that team. He definitely took a risk signing Kawhi, but hey, it paid off, right? Paid off. But what do y'all think? Do y'all think Kyle Lowry is a Hall of Famer? I've been seeing this conversation go around. I wanted to have it with y'all. I wanted to know, what are y'all thoughts on Hall of Fame? Do y'all think he will make it into the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Do I think Kyle Lowry is a Hall of Famer? So he finally gets a ring on a first ring ever in Toronto. So that's something to think about on itself. 5-time All-Star. I've been so tough on Lowry. I've been so tough, and I was really proud of the way he played this year. I'm gonna say yes. It seems like everybody gets in the NBA Hall of Fame these days. First ring ever in Toronto on the team that took down the Golden State Warriors, and you were a big part of it. I mean, yeah, we could talk about the injuries at the end of the day, but in about 20 years when we look back, no one's going to talk about the injuries. They're just going to see the Raptors beat the Golden State Warriors, first team to do in the finals since LeBron's Cavs. So, yeah, I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame. I think, it might not be right away, but he'll be in there. I think he's done enough. I think he's part of a legendary team at this point, especially being the first ring in Toronto.
Okay. What do you think, Stacey?
Man, first of all, I want to start off by saying, I really like Kyle Lowry, and I really respect what he did in Game 6. He was the MVP of that game. He was the MVP of that game. But him being a Hall of Famer, I don't think so. I don't think so. First of all, comparing him to the other point guards in the Hall of Fame, like Jason Kidd and John Stockton, he averaged more points per game career-wise than them. But I don't look at him as an impactful player during his time in the NBA. Like those two were impactful players, and that got to go with your Hall of Fame resume. Like he only has 6.1 assists per game average wise. For his career, only shoot 42%. Career wise, his highest points per game is 22.4, and he has never averaged 10 assists per game in a season. Just not that much of an impact player. He's a very good player. But as far as career-wise, I don't see the impact that's worthy of being in the Hall of Fame. He might get in, but I just don't see it.
Yeah, hey, I hear both of y'all's arguments. I'm on the fence on it too, whether or not he is a Hall of Famer. But the way I look at it, if it's off of my Hall of Fame, my personal Hall of Fame, I say hell no. He ain't making my personal Hall of Fame. But based off of basketball's Hall of Fame and the standard that they have, I do believe he will get in. Like you said, he's a 5-time All-Star in a point guard era. I think that's very huge. He's like making the All-Star team 5 times when you have Kyrie Irving, you have all these other great point guards. Obviously, he's in the East, so it does make it a tad bit easier. I understand that part. But he still did make it there 5 times. So you can't discredit that. And him winning this ring, man, it's huge. Like him winning this ring, beating this Warriors team. When we look back at this, he's influential in beating this team throughout the Eastern Conference Finals and throughout this Finals. He's been playing great. He's played great both series. Like after the whole Magic 0 points game, he's slowly been getting better and better and better and better. So he was instrumental in them winning this series. And I think we'll look back at it. We'll say Kyle Lowry, he may not be first ballot, but he will get in there eventually. Like you said, he's the Draymond Green of point guards to me. So he does a little bit of everything. Not all of it's going to show up in the stat sheet, but when I take into account how he runs the offense, how he's able to score every now and then, how he's able to, lock down another person's best player sometimes on the perimeter. So he does a little bit of everything to me, and I think that is worthy of making the Hall of Fame. And look at how the basketball has a whole bunch of other random names in the Basketball Hall of Fame. I think he definitely deserves it. People are arguing Iguodala. If I'm looking career, I think Kyle Lowry probably has a better career than Andre Iguodala. So yeah. I would definitely put him in the Hall of Fame.
He's definitely going to be in that Raptors Hall of Fame though.
Definitely. Oh yeah. He may get a trophy out there.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But y'all, what did y'all think about the KD and Klay injuries? What do y'all think that means for the Warriors going forward? What does it mean for the NBA? How does it affect free agency? Tell me what the two killer Ks, KD and Klay, how's it going to affect free agency, Stacey?
It's going to have a great deal of effect. First of all, as far as the Warriors concerned, if they re-sign them, then they're not going to play. I mean, KD is looked to be out the whole next season. Klay might be out the whole next season. Then we don't know how much money that they're going to give them. Are they going to let KD have that player option? He's going to opt in, or he's going to get the max. Are they going to sign Klay Thompson for the max? And then if you sign those two players for the max in the off season, how are you going to retool the rest of your roster with those two being gone? Because they're going to need somebody to step in and fill in the shoes. So it impact the Warriors that way, impact free agency as a whole, given that the top teams that were going to go after KD and Klay, they might not go after them. They're going to have to shift their focus somewhere else just because they're hurt. So, like for instance, we all hear about KD going to the Knicks. We all hear about Klay Thompson might go to the Lakers. Those two teams might just focus somewhere else because those two are hurt. They can't do nothing for the team for next year. So, it definitely had a great impact on free agency and the Warriors.
All right, let me ask you two questions, Stacey. So, with KD being out with the torn Achilles, obviously, he'll miss all of next season. If you were KD, would you opt into that contract, or would you look to go somewhere else in free agency, whether it be somewhere in New York or with the Clippers or anywhere else? What would you do?
Now, if they give me that money, let's say the Knicks give me that money, yeah, I'm going to the Knicks.
Oh, KD getting that money.
If he get that money, but if they steer away from him, then I would definitely opt in and, get better, recover the whole year, but still get my money, though, from the Warriors. And then, look to next season, 2020, get that max. But first choice for him is definitely follow the money. Definitely follow the money.
Yeah, definitely got to get that bag coming off a torn Achilles. I definitely agree with that. What do you think, Michael?
So as far as how it affects the Warriors, these injuries, it basically turns them into just a middle of the pack team. I don't want to be disrespectful because these are still the Warriors, but they're basically a middle of the pack team when you look at the West next year and how deep it could be. Just think about all the teams that were in the playoffs this year and think about all the teams that are going to take steps forward. You have teams like the Sacramento Kings, a young team that was close to making the playoffs. The Lakers have AD now. The Mavericks are coming back with Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. So it's just so many storylines. And with KD and Klay being out, it's just wide open in the West. It's so open. Everybody's trying to scramble now, put together the right teams to go after that championship. Teams like the Houston Rockets, this might be their opportunity. There's a lot of reports right now that Chris Paul and James Harden aren't getting along, David, and I'm sorry to hear that, but it might be time for them guys just to shut up and put it together. The Warriors are hurt. This is your opportunity. Now, we never wish injury upon anybody, but that's just the nature of the game, the nature of the NBA, the nature of an 82-game season. So the injuries definitely hurt the Warriors going into next year. Like we were saying earlier, we're going to see what Steph Curry's made of. We're going to see what he could do for this team. We're going to see if Draymond can be a reliable option and DeMarcus Cousins be a reliable option. That's going to be a lot for the Warriors. So I think they're going to be a bottom four team, like you said, David. But as far as how their injuries impact free agency, like Stacey was saying, some of these guys might look at this and they might decide, well, hold on. KD just ripped his Achilles meat straight up off the bone. Klay Thompson done tore his ACL. How about I stay? How about Kemba Walker stays here in Charlotte and gets the bag? How about Jimmy Butler stays in Philly and gets the bag? Everybody just becomes bag chasers at this point because you got to think about your career. NBA player's basketball career isn't that long. They have about a solid 7-8 years to really collect that money, and then it's almost over in a blink of an eye when you think about it. So I think this can affect free agency a lot because guys are either going to do one or two things. They're either going to stay, collect the bag, think about their future, or two, go team up and try to win that ring. So we see AD has already moved on to the Lakers, which is always a good thing in Lakerville. But it's always a good
Sick.
thing in Lakerville. But you
Sick.
never know what could happen towards the draft and the free agency. I think we're going to see a lot of movement, or we're going to see absolutely nothing because everybody wants to get that money.
I definitely agree with those statements. But since you want to take a shot at my team, hey, we about to get Jimmy Butler while you at it. Stephen A. said they've been talking a lot. Hey, I seen as soon as both of them got knocked out, they was traveling overseas together. Hey,
Who y'all traded for Jimmy Butler?
it probably have to be a signing trade. It probably have to be a signing trade, and we either giving Chris Paul, Eric Gordon, PJ Tucker, some combination of either the two or the one. Somehow we get him, but hey, if he want to come to Houston, they trade him before they let him walk. That's the thing. Philly not going to just let him walk. They want some type of compensation. They'll take Chris Paul. They would take Chris Paul. I think they would.
Y'all gonna get Darren Collison. Y'all getting Darren Collison and Solomon Hill.
No,
and
that's not the Knicks. We not the Knicks. That ain't happening now.
That's gonna be the Rockets going forward. And James Harden. Go ahead and stick with your squad. Hey, but for real, if you look at it, yes, the Rockets got beat and they got shocked by the Warriors. But I think this is a year y'all could actually run it back. I mean, depending on Chris Paul, that's a big question mark on your team right now. I don't know what Chris Paul I'm getting. I know what I'm getting from James Harden. I know what I'm getting from Capella. I know what I'm going to get from PJ Tucker. What am I going to get from Chris Paul? I think that's the biggest question y'all got.
Yeah, I just don't. Go ahead.
The Rockets, they just stay together one more year, get one more crack at it, given what we know about the Warriors, and go after a wing player like Jimmy Butler. Go after somebody that can score from the wing, that can take the reins off of James Harden and Chris Paul. So that all they need, they just like few subtle pieces away from winning the title perhaps next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely got to get the right role players around them. That's definitely important. But as a Rockets fan, man, it's frustrating, man, because we were right there, and now all this, news coming out day after day about them arguing. It's kind of hard to see the direction of the team, and you got AD and LeBron, so now we got to go through them instead of the Warriors. So it's a lot. Like it's a lot right now. I really don't know which way to go if I'm the Rockets. Do I keep D'Antoni? Do I get rid of him? But hey, we'll have the whole summer to discuss that. But let's go ahead. I wanted to talk about our top 15 players of the 2018-2019 season. So go ahead. The way we did this list, everybody, we did it based off of just this season. It's not a career achievement award or nothing like that. So based off how each player played this season, and a little bit of the postseason played a factor in this as well for some of us. So Stacey, I want you to start us off. Go ahead, give us your 15 through 1. Lead us up to 1.
All right, 15-1 best players of the 2018-19 season. At 15, going to start off the list with D'Angelo Russell.
Whoa.
He was the reason why the Nets were able to get the 6th seed and push the 76ers to 6 games. He was just explosive all year. I'm looking forward to what he's going to do next year, whether he stay with the Nets or go somewhere else. I think that he's on to come up at 14.
That's where you starting your list. Hold on. That's where you starting your list. Yeah. D'Angelo Russell.
Yeah, D'Angelo Russell.
Okay.
And we talking about this year. We talking about what has transpired this year.
You right.
Yeah, I got D'Angelo Russell there. 14. From the Washington Wizards, Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal had a career year. He was the only reason why you should watch a Wizards game to watch him play. He definitely took over for John Wall when John Wall went down. And he's going to be a sought-after name in free agency. A lot of contending teams going to try to trade for him. All right, so he's at 14. At 13, got to go with Devin Booker, Phoenix Suns. I keep saying this. He's the only reason why they won 19 games. If he wasn't on that team, I don't think they would have won any. But he's definitely having a career year. He's on the come up. He might take over the league soon. He might take over. We still don't know, but he's fantastic. And then at 12,
right.
Right. Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. At 12, gotta roll with Kyrie Irving. Fantastic year. Had a very efficient year. He got knocked down on my list because of what transpired against the Milwaukee Bucks. They choked that one away pretty bad. And he didn't play well in that series. But, going to the regulars the regular season, he was that focal point. He was that number one guy all year. So I got him at 12, though. At 11, Russell Westbrook. I put Russell Westbrook right there. Another triple-double. Another triple-double. How does he do it? How does he do it? And he got knocked back on this list because, man, I was so disappointed how the Thunder went out in the playoffs, and I think it's his fault. It's his fault. I think he put up 30 shots in the elimination game. Only made like 11.
Hey, go down swinging, man.
Like, come on, man. You got to pass that ball off. Man. You got to pass that ball off. If you know you're not on, you're not on. It's okay.
PG was hooping that game too.
Yeah. He just trying to be a hero, and sometimes that be killing me about him. But he's on this top 15 list for sure. And then, all right, let's get into the top 10. Number 10, I got Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin. Yeah. He quietly had a fantastic year. Quietly. And he was the reason why the Pistons were in the playoffs. He had a great year. He's getting better. He's healthy now. And it's going to be interesting to see where the Pistons go from here because they like that middle of the road team. So I got him at 10. At 9, got Kemba Walker. He's at 9. Had a career year. He might go to the Lakers. He might not. He might re-sign with Charlotte, but he's definitely a name. He made a name for himself. He's in the elite status now, I believe. He's in the elite status. At 8, got to go. Made his name in the playoffs. That big shot. He's a baller. I think he cracked the top 5 for his point guards in the league. Very, very, very good game. And also, Portland Trailblazers, they one of those teams that might sneak up on you again. So you got to look out for them. All right. So 7, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is at 7. Yeah.
Hold the fuck up. Hold up. KD not in your top 5.
No, we talking about this year.
Explain. Go ahead.
He just had like a light 26. He could have done better. He could have got to 30. He kind of took a little step back this year, but it's all right though. Well, he's at 7. We going off this year alone, and I think the players ahead of him, they had a better year. They had a better year in my opinion.
Did you not see him against the Clippers?
I mean,
did you not see him dominate that series?
Look, this is more towards the regular season and the playoffs.
I feel you on that. But it's Kevin Durant, and he playing on the Warriors. I understand he ain't averaged 30. But hey, he was almost 50, 40, 90, I'm pretty sure. He was balling. I don't know how you got him at number 7. Go ahead, man. What's your number 6?
Well, let me give you my 6 through 1, and let's see if you stay with the same thoughts. All right. And you probably get mad at my number 6 though. my number 6, I got Steph Curry.
Oh, yeah. Steph Curry.
Yeah. And this is why, he finished with 27.3 points per game. That was his second highest career-wise, next to the 30 points per game. I think this year he was definitely a bit overlooked, a bit overshadowed because Steph Curry, we expect this from him, but he quietly had one of his best years in his career. So he's at number 6, and my bad, he's above Kevin Durant in this one.
Yeah, one of his best years, and he still ain't better than KD. But go ahead.
Yeah, that career-wise, he talking about career-wise, nah. But,
this year.
But, yeah.
Okay.
At 5,
top 5.
Here we go. Top 5. Here we go. At 5, I got Joel Embiid, top 5.
Okay.
Number 5. He's the only center in the NBA who averaged north of 25 points per game this year. The only center, dominating.
Okay.
Dominating center. He could do it all. He can step out. He can surprise you with a little 18-footer, a couple threes a game. He'll surprise you. He's getting better and better. He's coming more versatile, and it's scary to see where he goes from here. It is scary to see.
Hey, somebody's not on his list. Listen up, Michael. Somebody's not on his list.
Hey, I'm listening.
Go ahead. What's number 4?
Number 4, I got Paul George at number 4. Okay,
it's 2.
his story is incredible. Coming off, that gruesome injury he had a couple years ago, and for him to get back to the Paul George we know, actually the better version, averaged 28 points per game this year. He's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, and he should have had the ball instead of Russell Westbrook in that series. Give it to Paul George. Stop playing with Paul George. But yeah, he's at number 4. Number 3, this was tough. I was going back and forth between 3 and 2, but at number 3, I got James Harden at number 3. I got him at number 3.
David just had a heart attack.
Hey, at least he got him top 3.
I'm gonna tell him why in a minute. I'm gonna tell him why about my number 2 in a minute. But no, James Harden, man, 36.1 points per game. That's incredible. 30 straight games for 30 points or more. Incredible. MVP. He might get the MVP, he might not, but James Harden just out of this world. And then he had a better year than last year where he won the MVP. Crazy.
He got better.
Crazy.
Who's your number 2?
Number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo at number 2. And this is why I had him above James Harden, because we expected the Houston Rockets to be good. We expected them to be good. We expected them to be NBA, finals contenders. But for Giannis to lead the Bucks the way he did this year, they won. They was the only team to win 60 games. They never lost more than 2 games in a row the entire year.
To the Eastern Conference Finals hit.
And then, unfortunately, that happened. But he's on the come up. He could be the new face in a few years. Still need to get that jump shot. But he's at number 2. At number 1, y'all probably know who this is. This is his league. This is his league now, I think. This is his league. Kawhi Leonard. He won the championship. He's the finals MVP. He proved all the doubts wrong, including Coach Pop. Coach Pop, he's shaking his head. He's probably hiding in his house right now, because Kawhi Leonard, he did that. He showed why he's perhaps the best player in the NBA, probably the most complete player in the NBA, two-way player, will lock you down and still give you 27 to 30 points per game. So I got Kawhi Leonard at number 1, and that's my top 15 of the 2018-19 NBA season.
Okay, I like the list, but
it's a solid list.
Let me go ahead and give him my list, Michael.
Let's see what you got.
All right, so number 15, Jimmy Butler. 14, Klay Thompson. Let me know when to stop. All right, 13, I got Russ. 12, I got Kyrie.
Wait,
yes.
All right, go ahead. I ain't gonna
Kyrie over Russ. Is that what you mad at?
I'm not mad at it.
All right. But that's number 12, Kyrie. 11, I got Anthony Davis.
Okay.
I think Anthony Davis is number 11. Number 10, I got Embiid. 9, Paul George. 8, Jokic. 7, Dame. 6, Steph. 5th, I got LeBron.
Woo.
Number 4, Giannis. 3rd, Harden. 2, KD. And number 1, I got that man, the Claw, Kawhi Kobe Jordan.
Did I put Steph Curry in there?
Yeah, he was my number 6. He's number 6.
Okay, I was like, hold on, let me look at my list.
Hold on, I noticed you had AD and LeBron on this list.
Yeah,
I didn't have them. I didn't have them on mine.
You didn't have either of them?
No, I'm sorry. They just didn't play. They didn't just play enough games. I'm
gonna let Michael handle that one, being that they both on his team. Go ahead. What you gotta say about both of them not being top 15 players, man? At least from last year.
LeBron and AD.
Both.
They both did miss a lot of games. I think they both played about 50-something games, 53 to 55, somewhere in there. I got one of them on my list and one of them not. You'll understand my feelings when we get there.
Go ahead, Michael. What's your top? Any other rebuttals about my top 15? I don't even think you had Jokic in your 15. Did you, Stacey?
No, I didn't. I didn't have him.
You were tripping. I think Jokic, he is probably the best center this year. He probably was. During the playoffs, he was hooping, almost averaging triple-double, scoring like 25 plus points per game. So I think Jokic, at the end of the season, he did kind of pass Embiid. Embiid was kind of sick throughout that playoff. So I definitely had Jokic. I had him at number 8 for me. So I had to throw him in there. But go ahead, Michael. Who you got for your top 15?
All right. So let's get to my top 15. Had to get it right. So at number 15, I'm going to show this man some love because the NBA didn't. Klay Thompson. Like I've always said on this show a couple times, after like his first 7 or 8 games this season, after that he was averaging plus 20 with like 40% shooting from 3, 40% from the field. And he typically guards the best player. So I had to show Klay Thompson some love at 15. At 14, I got Kemba Walker. Great year with the Charlotte Hornets. Deserved however much money he gets this offseason. So I got him there. At 13, I got Kyrie Irving for the Celtics. Now, they did fizzle out in the playoffs, but there was times during the regular season where Kyrie looked like an improved point guard, in my opinion. He had a couple very high assist games. I think he had like more than 10 in one game. He had like 15 or 16 in one game. So I thought this was a good year for them, even though it didn't end too well. Above that, I have for number 12, I got Mr. Blake Griffin. Got shipped off to Detroit from LA. What a change in lifestyle. But he went off to Detroit, played his ass off, got that team to the playoffs, him and Drummond. He's getting better with every year. I don't know if people really notice, but his game has really evolved from where he was when he first came in the league, when he was just known as a dunker, to what he is now, which is one of the best all-around power forwards we have in this league. So I got Blake Griffin right there. At number 11, I have Russell Westbrook. Averaged another triple-double this year. Dude's just a energizer bunny on the court. Unfortunately, that doesn't always lead to playoff success, but hey, we'll see what happens from there. So I got him at number 11. Now, time for my top 10.
Before you go to top 10, both of y'all had Russ over Kyrie, if I'm not mistaken. You did too, Stacey?
Yeah, I did.
What was y'all thinking behind that? Because I know Kyrie ain't show up in that Bucks series, but I need my point guard to be able to shoot. At the end of the day, Russ can't shoot.
Let me tell you why. Hopefully you remember this. 20, 20, and 20. Did Kyrie do that? No.
All right, that's fair.
That's kind of where I was leaning there. Russ be putting up some stat lines that I don't think Kyrie's ever gonna sniff. He might hit a couple in the points, maybe the assists, but he'll never be the rebounder he is. I had to go with Russ over Kyrie ultimately at the end of the day.
Okay. I had it close, but at the end of the day, I looked at the shooting. But I'm not mad at it. Go ahead with your top 10, man.
So at number 10, I got the Laker, LeBron James. I still got him in my top 15. Dudes still averaged 28, 8, and 8. And then when he came back from injury, he did nothing but, average a triple-double for the rest of the season. And a lot of it's just out of respect, man. This is LeBron James in his 16th year, still averaging a triple-double, still averaging 28, 8, and 8 in an off year. I got to give him that respect. He deserves to be at least 10 on my top 10. So I got LeBron James right there, number 10. At number 9, I got Paul George. What a great year for him he had. He was the best player on the OKC Thunder, even though everybody on the OKC Thunder doesn't seem to know that. He was in the defensive player of the year race for a while before he ended up ultimately getting hurt and his production slowed down a little bit. But during the first half of the year, he was clearly in the MVP race. He was helping the Thunder win a lot of games when they were deferring to him as the first option. So shout out to Paul George, even though he didn't want to come to my Lakers. That's a different story. That's why he's number 9. Number 8 on my list, Nikola Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. Like David said, arguably the best center in the league this year, almost averaged a triple-double. I saw some things in the playoffs from him that I really liked. My one question about him was, can you be that guy we can just dump the ball down to and you just go out there and score? And I think he showed me that in a few of those series. So I got him coming in at number 8. At number 7, I got Mr. Big Shot Logo Lillard. My partner likes to call him Dame Lillard. Knocked out the OKC Thunder from half court. Didn't do much against the Warriors, but hey, Dame Lillard had a great year. He's been lobbying, telling people, "Hey, I'm getting overlooked. Y'all still underrating me." I think everybody saw what Damian Lillard could be on the biggest stage this year. So shout out to him. I got him right there at number 7. So number 6, I like Joel Embiid from Philly. That's my best center of the league. Hands down, was in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. One of the best offensive players we've seen at the center position since the Dream. I'm sure you know all about that, David.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going with Embiid.
Don't disrespect.
Oh, yeah. But I'm going with Embiid right there. So now we get into my top 5, where I think we're going to have a lot of familiar names. So at number 5, I got Kevin Durant. Well, what more can I say about the year he had this year? Unfortunately, it ended with him tearing his Achilles, but he was consistent and great during the regular season, got to the playoffs, took it to a whole nother level. Unfortunately, he got hurt, and we know the story there. But I have him at number 5. At number 4, I still have Steph Curry one slot above him. And at the end of the day, I never thought I'd say this, but Steph Curry played a lot longer this season. So he was still there in the finals. I know we talked about his Game 6 blunders, but let's give him his credit. Game 5, he did hit a big shot that ultimately tied the game. Then Klay Thompson went on to hit the 3, but he definitely had some big games, and he was definitely his usual consistent self during the regular season. So he's at number 4. Now time for that top 3. So number 3. Sorry, David. I got James Harden. Look, I'm a big Harden fan. He was great all year when that team was in the pits. He definitely helped fight them out of it, and he was great. But I just can't help but feel disappointed in the playoffs. I'm sure you can relate a little bit too. I just felt like there was something missing, man. I felt like this was their year, and I felt like James Harden should have really took the reins. But unfortunately, with the new style they adapted, this ISO style, which a lot had to do with injuries, it didn't work out. But he was still my 3rd best player this year. He was amazing, breaking all types of records, a 30-point game streak. It was all good. So James Harden is number 3. At number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo might be the MVP. He's my MVP pick. Only team with 60-plus wins. Finally got utilized right. Got the right coach to put the right team around him. We saw what he could be, even though he got neutralized by Kawhi Leonard in the conference finals. But what a great year for Giannis. So I have him at number 2. And
hey, hold on. I got you.
What it do, baby?
And number 1, what it do, baby? I got Kawhi, Kobe, Jordan, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, what can I say? I don't even care that he sat down 23 games now. If you're Toronto, can you care at this point? Because look at the production you saw in the playoffs. First walk-off Game 7 buzzer beater ever in playoff history. Averaged 30 points in the finals on almost 50% shooting. Locked down Giannis. Sent Joel Embiid home crying. Sent Steph home. Like, what more can we say about this guy who's reestablished himself as a superstar in this league? So Kawhi was my best player of this year.
So I couldn't help but notice a couple of the things that y'all had in here. I had LeBron at 5. Michael had him at 10. Stacey didn't even have him on the list. I'm confused. Like, barely top 10. I'm confused there. I'm confused how Steph had a better year than KD. I'm confused how Giannis had a better year than Harden. Like, y'all are messing with me right now. These lists are blasting me right now. Somebody explain.
Hold on, wait. And both of
y'all were agreeing.
And how both of y'all not have Paul George in y'all top 5?
The second half of the season, he fell off.
Yeah.
But he was...
In that first round exit, it just looked bad. Like, that first round exit just looked bad.
MVP candidate, defensive player of the year, probably 28 points per game. Top 5.
Yeah, if we go on our stats, LeBron had a better statistical year. Obviously, his defense
I got Steph above KD of one simple 2 numbers you need to hear: 5 and 7. Steph was out for 11 games with KD and everybody else. They went 5 and 7. I'm sorry. He's proven that, yes, KD is the ultimate insurance policy. He's volcano insurance. You know, the volcano might never go off.
Volcano
That
insurance.
damn day, dude, you got it. You got an ace in the bag. But Steph Curry is the engine that keeps him moving, dog. I had to put him. I only put him one slot over him, just barely.
Y'all tripping, man. Y'all tripping. And how y'all got Giannis over Harden? Like that too. How y'all got him over?
60 wins.
No.
And Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
MVP. Y'all saying all this weak stuff. 4 straight L's. 4 straight.
Giannis made it to the conference finals. That's why I expected to see Harden.